What's up, guys? Amanda Nybert, registered dietitian. Happy Sunday. Thought I would jump on and take you through kind of my thought process when it comes to planning my meals for the week to come. You know, healthy eating doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to take a long time. But I'm here to tell you, spending some time on Sunday, the weekend, whatever that may be, to kind of think through, what does your week look like? What food do you already have on hand? What do you need at the grocery store? And what you're gonna cook will save you so much time, so much money, and so much headache in the long run. I definitely believe that this habit that I've created, where every Sunday I sit down and kind of think about my week ahead and planning my meals, has allowed me to create consistency with regards to healthy eating. And guys, if you're struggling with long-term health and wellness, that's what you're lacking, consistency. And so this type of habit that you do week over week can really help to create the consistency you need to see long-term results. So what am I cooking this week? I like to first go through my refrigerator, my pantry, my freezer to kind of see, what do I have on hand? I tend to stock up on a lot of protein, especially when it's on sale. It's a really great way to kind of save money. If you're struggling to, eat healthy on a budget, protein tends to be, one of the higher ticket cost items. So anytime I see the chicken I love, the beef I love, anything on sale, I buy a lot of it. So I actually have everything I needed for this week's meal prep except for a couple of items. I am going to be making my chicken stuffed peppers. It's like a ranch chicken stuffed pepper recipe. Heather reminded me of it and was inspired. So I did run out and grab a bunch of peppers and stuff to make this amazing green sauce, which I will absolutely film that recipe for you because it is a huge winner. So when I'm thinking about my meal process, you know what I'm thinking about first? Protein. My personal protein goal is 30 to 40 grams per meal. So when I'm mapping out what I'm going to be eating throughout the week, I want to make sure that my meals are going to achieve that number. So that's what I look at first. Number two, I want to fill in the blanks with a lot of high fiber foods. So lots of veggies, lots of color. I'm a volume eater. I like to eat a lot of food. And you can get away with eating lots of veggies for very little impact on your macronutrients. So I tend to add a lot of that. And then I got to keep it simple, guys. I have baseball every single night this week, okay? Most of the games are going to start about 5:30. So I'm either going to come home late, probably around 8:30, and need to cook something fast, or I'm going to have to cook it before I leave, eat before I leave, so on and so forth. And I know that this is kind of an area that a lot of you struggle with. We're all shuffling, well, we're not all, but a lot of us are shuffling kids back and forth. We're working full-time jobs. And the thought is, I don't have time to cook. Yeah, you do. And this little bit of planning is going to make my life a lot easier. Also, again, because I'm going to be at the baseball park for 5 days this week, this evening, this week to come, I'm really looking for quick items, okay? So again, I like to show a lot of variety in the foods that I eat. Some weeks, especially when it's not baseball season, you see me home cooking from scratch. And during baseball season, you're going to see a lot more convenience foods. So that's what you're going to see today. So I've got, starting out with my stuffed peppers, chicken. So I actually have I have 45 ounces of chicken here. This is almost 400 grams of protein, okay? And I'm going to cook this. I usually meal prep shredded chicken every week. I also meal prep, you'll see over here, my ground beef for either tacos or pasta. And I'll show you how I do that. I have an Instapot, so I love it. I've got it sitting right here. All I do is I take my frozen chicken breasts. I've got 5 big frozen chicken breasts. I'm gonna pour about a cup of chicken broth, but you could also just use water. I'm gonna use some salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, any type of seasonings that you want to flavor this. I'm gonna stick it in my Instapot right here. Put it on the poultry setting, pressure cooking, about 20 minutes, boom, okay? I've got almost 400 grams of protein right there ready to go. So that's actually gonna take care of probably 3 different meals this week. Definitely my stuffed peppers. I'm probably gonna make a double batch of this so I can eat some for dinner, and then I'll have leftovers to eat for lunch. This kind of chicken ranch kind of get up that it makes would be really good in like tacos. So we'll probably do that one night. So gonna meal prep the chicken. That's gonna be ready to go. We'll prep the sauce, good to go. My next meal is one of my favorites, and that is sweet potato stuffed barbecue with an easy slaw. So I love these little pulled pork kits. You'll see here, I've got another one, this pulled chicken. I love the ingredients. I think they're, super simple. Each one of these has 120 grams of protein in it. Okay, so there's 5 servings, but I'm gonna divide it by 4 for my family. We're each gonna get, right at about 30 grams of protein per serving. When I serve this baked potato stuffed pulled pork, I just put it on sliders for my kids. So there's meal number 2. Right there, gonna get a good 30. Might add a little extra chicken from my shredded chicken to give me 40 grams of protein. My next one is just gonna be a simple stir fry. I love these little stir fry kits. Gonna be using this pulled chicken because I already had it. We'll also pull from some of the shredded chicken to add a little bit more to mine. And gonna cook up some rice. Here's a tip for rice, quinoa, things like that. These are great to meal prep beforehand, okay? Because rice, potatoes, these are great to meal prep beforehand. Quinoa, any of these really starchy products, when you cook them, you cool them and you reheat them. It creates an abundance of resistant starch. And resistant starch is really good for your gut bacteria. It kind of feeds that healthy bacteria. So if you're looking to, elevate your gut health, which is it's a good idea, okay? That's a really easy way to do it. Go ahead and pre-cook your starches on Sunday and then reheat them. There's also research that shows that cooking, cooling, and reheat them improves the glycemic response. So your blood sugar doesn't quite spike as high as it does when you cook them, right off the bat and eat them. So love that tip. We'll go ahead and pre-cook my potatoes and rice today. Super simple. Got a stir fry. My next one is, again, we're either having tacos or pasta or both each night, one night a week. Pasta night goes over really well in my house. Ain't nobody complaining. So I always do that. I'm gonna go ahead and prep. I love to mix ground beef with lean ground turkey. Makes the calories a little bit better because the ground turkey has a little bit less fat in it. And I also don't love the taste of ground chicken or ground turkey. I think it's very bland. And I find mixing the ground beef with the ground turkey just gives it a much better flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 pounds. Again, wanna make sure that I can get 30 to 40 grams of protein. My husband can get 30 to 40 grams of protein. My son needs that much. Maybe not my daughter, but probably wouldn't hurt her to be having that protein, because I can tell you, she ain't getting protein at her other meals. So protein is important for everybody. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-cook this. That way, literally one night I come home after the baseball, game, all I'm gonna have to do is dump my jar sauce, cook my pasta. Both of those will take 7 to 10 minutes, and I have a meal on the table. So we're having pasta. And then the last one is I grabbed this box of beef stroganoff at Costco, mainly because it looked amazing. It also has, let's see here, there's 8 servings. So it's got about 90 grams of protein in it. These servings are gonna be super small. So I'm gonna go ahead and double each serving for each person, and that's gonna give us about 20 to 30 grams of protein. So this is gonna be absolutely on that night that I need something super quick and easy. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meals done, ready to go. It should take me probably 10 minutes each night to get these on the table. And I know what it's like, guys. You're at the ballpark, you're sitting there, and you're like, I don't want to go home at 8 o'clock and cook, okay? and I don't want to mess up my kitchen, and I'm tired. It's just so much easier to run through the fast food, grab something on the way home. And trust me, that may happen this week, okay? Sometimes it'll be like, my kids, I'll just grab them something and I might come home and do a bag salad or something. But I promise you, when you know that you only have to go home and cook for 10 minutes and you're just gonna throw, packaging away, and it's gonna be super simple. You've already pre-thought out how you're gonna hit your protein goal. You do it. It's so much easier, and you get excited about the food you eat. So that's what I've got going on for dinner. Let's talk about lunch, okay? Again, busy week. I am prepping for a pretty significant talk that I'm gonna be giving next week. Amazing opportunity. So it's kind of like my TED Talk all over again. I've got to memorize it. So I've got new sessions starting, a lot going on. I know that I'm not going to have a lot of time to be prepping elaborate lunches. So look what I got, guys. All right. I've got my bag salad, which I love to use. I'll use some of my shredded chicken that I'm already meal prepping up to incorporate that. I get a lot of questions about bag salads. Do you eat the whole bag? Do you use all the toppings and the dressing? So I typically eat about 3/4 of the lettuce, because once I add 30 to 40 grams of protein, it's very filling. And I typically use most of all the toppings, because that's the fun part. And I usually will use the dressing, okay? Because this is a convenience item, okay? If you're gonna throw out the toppings and the dressing, save your money. I mean, this is only $4, but just buy some lettuce and add your chicken, add your own dressing, whatever. So that's kind of my spiel for the bag salads. This guy, if you haven't tried the Thai chili mango, you're missing out. It is so darn good, my favorite. I also have, me, Healthy Choice should sponsor me, but they don't. So this is not a paid ad. I love these Max Pro meals. I was actually just at Kroger on, maybe it was Euclid. They were stocked to the max. I know a lot of the Krogers in Lexington are gone. They're at Target, they're at Walmart. You kind of have to look around for them. But these are so filling, and 34 grams of protein. Easy peasy lunch, love it. Also, my new obsession are these real good foods. And what I realized is 20 grams of protein is per enchilada. So if you eat the whole thing, it's actually 40 grams of protein. These things are absolutely delicious. They're a little bit more hidden, but they are absolutely in every freezer grocery store, okay? Look around, ask somebody. A little hidden. They were on sale at Kroger this week, so they're a little bit gone. So I've got a chicken enchilada. I'll eat the whole box, 40 grams. And then I've got a ricotta cannoli, 17 grams, 34 grams for the whole box. I'm gonna eat them. So there's my lunch. Leftovers. It doesn't get any easier, guys. And that's really what my passion is about. This is healthy eating, okay? And if anyone tells you differently, they're lying, all right? I am all about encouraging people to just start. And the issue of feeling so overwhelmed, like you have to make every recipe from scratch, it's gotta be all organic and clean ingredients and perfectly, whatever, is what's holding so many people up. I know for the people that I work with, this is the kind of stuff that they need. This is the kind of stuff that gets them started, and that's what it's all about. Again, as you build on your health journey, you can continue to walk in a better direction. And you may get to the point where none of this is acceptable to your diet because you've leveled up to a different level. And I applaud you if you're there. But at the end of the day, I'm just all about stop making excuses, because if there's a will, there's a way. And there's a way to hit your protein goal. Mine's 120 grams a day. All right, so I'm doing about 30 to 40 with lunch and dinner. And then I'm filling in the other 30 to 40 with snacks, protein shake, high protein snacks, things like that. I don't have time to think about food, okay? And if you're spending all day thinking about food, you're not prepared. You haven't planned well. And that's what's causing you to fail. So ask your questions in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions right now. I'm happy to answer those as we sit here on this live. I again, all about helping you guys, make it happen, especially with macro management. Lots of people are talking about the Healthy Choice Max Pros. I've been doing a lot of research looking for, again, when I look for a frozen meal, I want something at least over 20 grams of protein. That's what I'm looking for. I think a lot of the frozen meals out there, they're frozen snacks. They would make a great snack, but they're just not big enough to be an actual meal. KTM is asking, do you count your calories too? Absolutely. Weight loss is about being in a caloric deficit and optimizing protein. Those are the things that matter the most. So I'm always very calorie conscious. I get about 1,800 calories in my caloric deficit. And so I can do at least 500 calories per meal. How should I calculate my protein goal? Great question. Your protein goal is somewhere between 50 to 75% of your current weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need somewhere between 100 to 150 grams of protein. It is your missing link, guys. That is what most people are missing the most when it comes to weight loss. You're just not getting enough protein. What is the brand of the pulled pork you showed? Oh, so these are a Kroger brand. I'm sure if you are at Publix or Walmart or anywhere, they will have a similar product. Again, I love these because there's no unhealthy seed oils in them, which there's no sauce. Usually the sauce is what will get you with kind of discretionary ingredients. So, you can flavor them and season them and add the sauce. Like, for example, I'll add my own barbecue sauce when I make these. How do you prepare the Kroger pulled chicken? You just microwave it. Yeah, so I actually have already had like a little portion of it. So you just kind of break it up and you throw it in the microwave. You put it on the skillet, heat it on the stove, and add whatever seasonings you want. What do you eat for breakfast during the week? So I practice time restricted eating. I typically break my fast between 10 and 12. So I don't typically eat breakfast, but on the days that I do eat breakfast, my go-to is a big omelet. So usually like a cup of egg whites with one egg. That's going to give me about 40 grams of protein, tons of veggies. So that's the best kind of high protein option for breakfast. Talk about an underactive thyroid. I'll talk very briefly because that can be a very long discussion. Underactive thyroid, you are not eating enough, you are not getting enough protein, you are not sleeping well, your stress is too high, potentially you're over exercising. So, some people have underactive thyroids and it's kind of new and it can be resolved with lifestyle changes. Some people have underactive thyroids that have been going on forever and ever and will require medical intervention medications in order to regulate those. But that foundational work matters the most. What gluten-free flour do you recommend? I'm making a chicken soup crock pot recipe. I don't have a ton of experience with specific gluten-free flours. I usually just go by if I'm looking for a gluten-free recipe, I usually will Google it and use exactly what they recommend. I mean, almond flour, coconut flour, there's a lot of all-purpose gluten-free blends that you can utilize that are kind of 1-to-1. So not a lot of help in that area. I want to gain weight. Okay, if you want to gain weight, it's a caloric balance. All right. So if you're losing weight, you're in a caloric deficit. If you're maintaining, you're at your caloric maintenance. If you need to gain weight, you need to eat more calories. I work with a lot of young athletes that need to gain weight. The easiest way to do that is to add a mega shake, a mega smoothie once a day. So about 500 calories. I have a bulking powder that I use. High protein, high carb, high calorie, avocado, lots of healthy fats is the easiest way to gain weight. Say that again, please. How much protein for your weight? 50 to 75% of your weight is your protein goal. Somewhere between those two numbers. What's up? Let's see here. I keep telling my 18-year-old and 20-year-old college athletes they need more protein in their diet. I can relate to that. My son, is trying to bulk up and I keep telling him, he's like, I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting heavy. And I'm like, You can go to the gym all you want, but you ain't gonna gain any muscle with the way that you eat. He undereats, he does not consume enough protein, and he looks at me and goes, Mom, you don't know what you're talking about. So, but it's true. Young athletes need a lot of calories. They need a lot of protein in order to put on mass. And it goes for anybody. Anyone looking to gain mass, you cannot do that in a caloric deficit. I'm 100 pounds, you're tiny. Can I gain weight with this? I'm 5'4" and skinny. Gain weight with what? I don't know. Again, in order to gain weight, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So I would track, what are you currently eating? And add 500 calories to that. How do you know how much protein is in the amount of chicken that you eat? So typically, 1 ounce of animal protein is about 6 grams of protein, okay? So this, I measured out, I weighed it out, it was 45 ounces, and just plugged it into my tracker, 45 ounces of chicken breast, and it spit out, 400 grams of protein. So, your ability to weigh and measure food will give you a more accurate picture. The label will tell you, again, this has 5 servings, 24 grams per serving. So you're gonna get about 120 grams of protein. Divide that by 4, that's how much protein you're getting. I found a low carb version of the frozen healthy choice meals, 27 grams of protein. Ooh, please share, Crystal. These are not bad. Again, people are like, what about the carbs? You guys are too carb phobic, okay? 50 grams of carbs per meal. And this is actually more like 40 grams of net carbs per meal. That's good, especially when you're talking about getting 34 grams of protein. Again, people are so focused on eating low carb, but they're under eating their protein. And low carb will work in the beginning, but in the long run, if you under eat your protein, that's going to be a problem. So stop fearing carbs. But yeah, I would love to hear what frozen meal that is. I haven't seen any other healthy choices with 27 grams of protein. Why egg whites, not the yolk? I love whole eggs. Again, whole eggs, the yolk are very high in fat. So if I did a omelet with all eggs, the calories would be significantly higher. And 1 egg has 6 grams of protein. So in order to get an omelet with 30 to 40 grams of protein, I'd have to have, 5, 6, 7, 8 eggs. And that would be a lot of calories. So the easy way to cut calories without cutting protein is to use some egg whites. But I love the whole egg. The yolk has all the choline, which is so good. Do you count carbs? Yeah, absolutely. I look at it all. I can't read Spanish. Let's see here. Big Mac Index. I have no clue what that means. Recipe for the mega shake. It's just 500 calories, a high protein, high carb protein supplement, mix it with whole milk, throw in some avocado, lots of fruit. Thoughts on losing weight while nursing. My thing about, new moms is we really push ourselves to bounce back. And I think that the women that do the best with bouncing back are the ones that give themselves grace. Your body has just gone through so much. You've, created a human. Give yourself time. I think definitely I would not recommend aiming for weight loss within the first, 4 to 6 weeks of nursing. Breastfeeding is a challenge in itself. It's very important to establish your supply right off the bat. After, 6 weeks, if you just want to focus on not eating like an asshole, I think that's a great tip. Breastfeeding alone helps you burn more calories. So you get to eat more calories during that time. And then, once you're a couple of months in, if you want to, again, continue to work on dialing in on your nutrition, I would focus on more what you're eating versus how much you're eating, but a little bit of macro management can be really helpful. Optimize your protein, don't eat 3,000 calories a day, give yourself balance in carbohydrates. So good. Let's see here. Can you talk about weighing in? I don't know. What's your question? The scale sucks. The people in my lean program are not allowed to weigh for 7 weeks because you have to trust the process. You have to give the program time to work. So many people are so quick to give up. The first week they don't see results. And guys, weight loss is not a ski slope. Sometimes you have to gain a pound to lose 2. So, a lot of people need to just throw away the scale. If you're losing a half a pound to a pound a week, and that's your average, again, you may lose 3 pounds the first week, nothing the next, and 1 pound the next, you're on track. So again, I think everyone's looking for a quick fix. And usually quick fixes do work in the short term, but you end up gaining it all back. I'm all about longevity, okay? I'm all about losing the weight and keeping it off forever. And that's what I want for you guys. And when you focus less on weight loss and you focus more on lifestyle change, habits that you can do forever, you're gonna see much better long-term results. Can you talk about weighing and measuring raw versus cooked meat? So the most accurate way to determine the protein or the macro content of animal protein is raw. So I did weigh out my raw chicken before I cooked it. You will notice that raw animal protein loses about 25% when it's cooked, but that's just an average. All right, sometimes I'll cook my chicken and it'll lose 30%, 35% in terms of volume. That loss is water weight. It's not protein weight, okay? So the protein is exactly the same for the amount of chicken that I put in versus the amount of chicken I pull out. And that's why I always, especially when I'm making a big batch, I go ahead and just weigh it real quickly before I cook it. If you're measuring out cooked animal protein, then add back 25%. Okay, so if you weigh out 100 grams of chicken, log it as 125 grams of chicken, and that'll give you a closer estimate of the actual macro goal. Pasta, rice doubles in size. It's half. So if you weigh, if the serving size is 2 ounces of dry pasta, then you want to weigh out 4 ounces of cooked pasta for that macro count. Problem BMI. BMI is a really crappy indicator of health, body mass index. It's very dated. I do not recommend using it. If you look at bodybuilders, or if you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, he would be considered morbidly obese when he had 10% body fat. Look at percent body fat. That's what you want to look at. Obesity does not equal unhealthy. Okay, that's the period. You can be really skinny and really unhealthy, and you can be really overweight and really healthy. Look at percent body fat. Women should be aiming below 30% body fat, more so than BMI. Can I still have access to the app after the 7 weeks are up? Yes, you'll have the option to roll into the monthly membership, or you'll have the option to just use the tracker. What magnesium supplement do you recommend? Hey Pam, DM me. I have a whole blog that I can share with you. Let's see, a couple more questions. What supplements do you take? That's kind of like a whole different call, but magnesium would be my top choice for sure. Everyone wants to ask about supplements, so maybe I'll do a call on that later this week. How do you know your percent body fat? You can do a DEXA scan. So your doctor can order a DEXA scan. It's how we measure our bone health. Make sure that you request to have the body composition added to it. You can order it yourself, pay out of the pocket. It's relatively inexpensive. An in-body, a lot of gyms or health food stores will have an in-body. Ideally, it's one that you stand on and you put your feet on. That'll give you a great idea of your percent body fat. A bod pod, if you live near a university, or college, a lot of athletic departments have a bod pod that you can sign up to use, or an at-home scale like the FitTrack scale will give you, again, a ballpark figure in terms of what your percent body fat is. But that is the number you guys should know. All right, awesome. I hope this was helpful. If it was, will you do me a big favor? After this is over, go to my page, share this in your stories, tag it to a few friends who could benefit from these really quick meal tip ideas. Remember, I have a new session of Lean starting tomorrow. Next week is just prep week. So you don't have to have anything ready, because we're gonna learn and we're going to practice and do everything this coming week to start fresh and on track next Monday. So consider joining. Remember, if you're a past client, you always get that $60 discount. Yay, thank you. Yes, she's giving a heads up to my Lean program. So happy Sunday. Tag me in your meal prep. Please share this. Love you all. Bye.